Something about GTA San Andreas doesn't make sense. For many years, people have debated whether or not Ryder was initially intended to be a good guy and never betray Grove Street. There's plenty of examples we're going to talk about that seem very unusual when it comes to Ryder, however, the real reason is quite surprising. Firstly, Ryder is seen at the funeral of Beverly Johnson with Sweet and Kendall, but Big Smoke is not. This is because Big Smoke is suspiciously hanging out at the Johnson house, waiting for Sweet to return home to kill him. But when CJ arrives home, it throws his plans off track, and CJ doesn't seem to confront him on the matter either. Another argument people will consistently bring up is that Ryder's missions benefit Grove Street. You see, a variety of Ryder's missions are intended to gather weaponry for the Grove Street gang members. This is interestingly something that Big Smoke's missions do not have, because Big Smoke's missions often have us getting into trouble involved in some of the deals with the Russian gang members and other gangs around the city, while Ryder's missions primarily do still centre around Grove Street and benefiting the gang altogether. However, something very interesting here is if you fail the home invasion mission, Ryder will actually abandon CJ, giving us an early sign here that you may have missed that he does have the mentality of leaving us behind and only thinking about himself if it comes to it.
Ryder, where the hell you at, man?
During the drive-through mission, Ryder opens up about the Green Saber, but after he says too much, Big Smoke shuts him down.
Some people say they saw a Green Saber doing the work, then speeding away.
Yeah, but people like to talk, don't they? Anyway, that's half of Santos you talking about.
Yeah, you right, my bad.
Hey, bro.
Big Smoke is clearly suggesting here that Ryder is talking too much. It does make you wonder if Ryder at this point in the game was intended to be the person who is working with Big Smoke and betrays Grove Street. Why would he openly talk about the Green Saber and some of the events that happened if he actually knew what the truth was? Big Smoke constantly shuts down any mention of CJ and Sweet's mother. Later on in this mission during the drive-thru we can see a perfect example of this, but Ryder is a character who openly will talk about the situation and doesn't seem to do this.
I mean, I didn't even know she was hit until it was all over.
Yeah, right. Let's eat.
Then immediately after this we have to chase down the Ballers, where Ryder and Sweet will shoot at them, but Big Smoke doesn't. So another question that people bring up is, why is Big Smoke not shooting? Well, of course it's because he's working with them and he's more concerned about his food. But if Ryder is with Big Smoke and working in on this plan, then why doesn't he shoot them either?
Hey, that food filled a hole.
You chubby motherfucker. Next time you better start blast or I'm gonna blast you myself.
I think it's clear at this point in the game, Ryder isn't as closely connected with the Ballers as Big Smoke. We know that Big Smoke has moved out to Baller territory, and he's then confronted about this by CJ, where he claims the reason is because he got some money from his aunt.
Hey, Smoke, tell me why you moved out the Grove. Man, got some money from my aunt. I mean, it's a nice place and all, but the Grove is in my heart, baby. It's where my dogs is at. Yeah, okay.
But Ryder is still a person who resides within Grove Street himself. It's later into the game's storyline where we find that Rockstar may have actually added Ryder to some missions later into development when they initially weren't planning to. And the biggest sign of this is during the mission Green Saber, when CJ arrives to meet Caesar and sees Smoke and Ryder working with the police. It's only Big Smoke who CJ mentions and no word of Ryder.
Just watch, homie.
What the fuck? Oh, no. Shit, Smoke, what you into?
Shh, that's it. Look at that ride.
That's the motherfucking Green Saber. It's Smoke, and he in deep with Tenpenny and some ballers. He sold us out.
Right after this, when CJ is captured by Tenpenny and Pulaski, again he only seems to mention Big Smoke's name, not Ryder. The reason for this will become all very clear in a few minutes when I reveal a few reasons for this.
Fucking Smoke. Oh, sweet! I can't believe that nigga Smoke turned on me.
Smoke does exactly what he's told. He learned that lesson a long time ago.
Damn, man, take it easy.
Homies,
Another interesting point to mention here is during the introduction for GTA San Andreas, it's an additional 21-minute long video that explains the game's plot in a sort of mini-movie kind of fashion. We hear them mention Smoke a lot, but not Ryder. Take a look here where Tenpenny is only talking about Big Smoke being a betrayer.
I knew that fat fuck would see it our way.
Yeah, always do once they understand the choices we're offering.
We then next have some Ballers stating the plan to do the drive-by in the Green Saber and how it's been orchestrated by one of their OGs, aka Big Smoke. And notice how they only say one of them, not two, aka including Ryder.
But we copping off one of they OGs, man. You sure this is cool? Or this some kind of trap?
We then also get a very interesting mission called Reuniting the Families, which I do want to bring up very briefly here. When the gang arrive at the motel, which is where a gang meetup is happening, the police swarm in after Sweet has gone inside and leave CJ behind to go in and save Sweet on his own while they take off running, saying it's every man for themselves.
Man, what you doing?
Go, get back in, man. We out of here, baby. I ain't leaving my brother. I ain't no buster.
Man, it's every motherfucker for himself.
It's only until we actually make it out of the motel, take down a police helicopter, and run back out onto the street where they appear out of nowhere. Something that's really interesting about this part here is when CJ says, "Come on, let's drive," and step on it, Ryder taps Big Smoke on the shoulder in a very suspicious way, which I may be overanalyzing this, but it is very interesting. Why is Ryder acting kind of suspicious here, as if to say, like, come on, let's do this, but they don't really want to. This mission is actually the final time we hear the real voice lines done by MC8 for Ryder, and that will become clear as we explain this next part here, because it's not then until Pier 69 where we kill Ryder where we hear his voice once again, but shortly before that there's a mission called Photo Opportunity, and this is where things are going to start making a lot more sense for you guys. During the mission Photo Opportunity, we have to drive out with Caesar and take some photographs of a meetup that's happening, which includes Ryder, which is where the game was initially intended to show us that Ryder was betraying us. Believe it or not, there's actually a beta version of this mission where you can hear the voice lines have been slightly altered so that it reveals that this is the first time that CJ has actually discovered that Ryder is betraying him.
Shit, Ryder. Damn Sherm head, fool. Oh, man, it's true. Ballers rule the families.
However, in the final game, this is the version that we get.
Ryder, you Sherm head.
This business is bigger than any gang, is it?
Ryder, little bitch.
So now we roll back the clocks to the Green Saber mission. It makes a lot more sense now why CJ doesn't seem to acknowledge that Ryder is betraying him and only seems to mention Big Smoke. Also pay attention to Ryder's character model. You might now realise that he's probably just been copy and pasted into this cutscene right here. But that isn't the only beta version that we have that proves that Ryder was always going to betray Grove Street, because then of course we have the mission Pier 69. And believe it or not, this mission has been altered quite drastically since the beta version of the game. In the final game version of this mission, we of course have to take out all the enemies and make our way down to the pier, where we shoot T-Bone Mendez, who has a very strange death because he doesn't seem to say anything.
I see you, Rifa motherfucker.
Then we see Ryder jumping off the edge of the pier, and what you'll notice is that his voice lines are just reused, and we have to chase him down in this boat, where again the voice lines used by his character are just reused assets from previous missions.
You sold us out, Ryder. You f***ed us all.
I'm a motherfucking genius.
Now in the beta version of this mission, instead of killing T-Bone Mendez against the railings, we actually kill Ryder, and we hear some final lines here that were completely removed from the game in the final version that make a lot more sense, including an audio file that strongly suggests this is the audio file for Ryder's death, where we hear him actually crying out in pain.
Man, my bussin' was tight. Hey, Ryder, Sherm head asshole. Where you think you going?
Can't stop me.
What do you want to do with him, Holmes?
You sold us out, Ryder. You fucked us all.
I'm a motherfucking genius. Ah!
Then in the later part of the mission, we then have to chase down T-Bone Mendez in the boat. Now, did you also notice something else very strange about the final version of this mission? And that's the phone call between you and Caesar at the very end of it. Listen to the voice lines, and do you notice anything strange about them?
What's up, Caesar?
Hey, you okay, Holmes? We've been watching from the pier with binoculars.
Yeah, I'm good, I think. Listen, you guys better clear out. The cops gonna be all over the spot in a minute.
Well, I'm going to play you a quick phone call here with Caesar from a different mission and see if you can tell the difference.
Hey,
CJ, it's Caesar, man.
I'm kinda busy now. Something big going down.
Essie, I gotta see you, Holmes. Tell you something.
So as you can hear, in the final version of the game, the voice of Caesar is not a telephone voice. It's a voice as if you're standing next to him.
We can watch it from the pier with binoculars.
Essie, I gotta see you, Holmes. Tell you something.
Look,
And that's because in the beta version of this mission, you were actually supposed to return back to the pier where you were talking to him face to face. So it's really quite strange here that this was changed at the very ending or the very final parts of development. So the official voice actor for Ryder, MC8 himself, has stated that he recorded all the voice lines that Rockstar Games asked him to, further sealing the book on the claims and backing up the original plan of him always being intended to betray Grove Street. There's a story you might have heard about him leaving the recording sessions early, or how he quit working on the game early before his contract stated, but these are all just myths that have now been busted. However, the biggest reveal of them all comes from, again, the introduction video that we mentioned earlier. During this introduction video, we can see that actually, yes, Ryder was in fact supposed to betray Grove Street. So it definitely proves that Ryder was always supposed to betray Grove Street, and actually the reason why this makes no sense in the game is simply because Rockstar Games decided to change it off of their own accord late into the development.
The way I see it is that we don't have a choice. Ain't nothing to feel bad about. You put a gun to a brother's head, brother's gonna do what he's told, no matter if he's a fool or a wise man. You don't want a bullet in the brain, but if you can make it work and make some Benjamins while you at it, then that's cool.
It's gonna take more than a bullet in the head to stop me.
I don't doubt that, homie.